Welcome to the week where beginnings are endings and endings have only just begun. We are in eclipse season officially, and this is our week of August 10th through the 16th. And the eclipse is our major story. It is a Leo eclipse at 20 degrees, so all of my folks with fixed sign placements, we're talking Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, and Aquarius, anywhere near 20 degrees, like 5 degrees on either side of that, definitely listen up because you are dead center here. So we have the Fool reversed as our card of the week. This is that liminal transition place where we feel that urgency to start things, but it may not be the best call. And other things are just going to start on their own. They have to happen, and they'll be off to a bumpy beginning of the journey. We're coming in on Monday, the 10th, because I missed Sunday, because I am in eclipse fatigue as well. But with Monday, our card of the week is Death. And this is particularly Death as Transformation, releasing the eagle, which is also kind of interesting because we did just have Jackie the Bald Eagle passed at Big Bear Lake today, which was a very interesting omen. But Monday gave us mostly a void moon right after the moon squared Saturn at 1:30 in the morning, went void. We had Libra, Venus, trine Pluto in Aquarius, and then opposing Neptune in Aries, and the Mars trine to the North Node in Aquarius. So Monday was deeper transformation work, but also there was a challenge of what it means to move into relationship advocacy in the face of collective movements, what it means to see clearly relationally, what it means to be resourced in a way that is fair and just. And these themes are going to carry on with us. The void moon means it's hard to start things, and we will see whether or not this video even goes anywhere, because releasing things out under a void moon often can lead to no response. But the eclipse also wants to be seen. And so as we move into talking about that, I don't want you to feel like it's something to be afraid of. I'm trying to give you the tools to help you move forward. But it is something that I would say pay attention to in your chart, because it is impactful. It is the first eclipse in Leo, so it's the start of a series, and that's going to give us a lot of important information. So as per usual, journal. Because Mars Day is big, and it starts at 2:30 a.m. Mountain Time on Tuesday, with Mars moving into fall in Cancer, where he has not been since Q1 of 2025. So I expect a lot of the news and things that got kicked up then will be back, but it's not retrograde. We don't have all the other stuff happening at the same time, but Mars will be ruling fall and Saturn. So having both malefics in fall and in line of sight of each other is going to be tricky. Because Mars is ruled by the moon, pay attention to your body, meet your needs so you don't lose your cool. We also have the moon moving into Leo 8 minutes later. So once the moon is in the sign of the eclipse, we are officially that is the most conservative window for a lunation, is the moon being in the sign of that lunation. Leo moon will square Chiron, conjunct Mercury, Juno retrogrades back into Capricorn. Then we get an opposition to Pluto from the moon, a trine to Neptune, a sextile to Venus, a sextile to Uranus, a conjunction with Jupiter. Mercury opposes Pluto. Mercury trines Neptune. Venus trines Uranus. Tuesday is hectic. Tuesday is we're setting the stage for the eclipse. Everything is happening all at once. And with that, we have the Black Moon reversed again, and House of God reversed, which is a version of the Tower card. And so this is that sense of false urgency and hastiness and, I'm just going to go in, I'm just going to do it, I'm going to make everything happen, we're going to get things ready, we're going to tear things down, it's going to be great. And again, I always talk about false urgency since Saturn has moved into Aries, and I really want you to take that super seriously right now, because when we move too quickly, we can do irreparable harm for no reason. We can end up with a slew of regrets. So if you take no other advice from this, just slow down. And also, it is not the time for hot takes. It is not the time for flash in the pan temper. It is not the time to say that thing that you've been thinking about saying. But it is the time that that might happen anyway. Like some of this stuff, it's just like best efforts yield very little results because everything is just kind of pushing there. And I can just reflect that boiling point. So where you can make more cautious choices, I recommend it. And where you can't, give yourself and the other person grace, especially in your intimate relationships. Like when you really know people, that's where we need grace right now. Like I'm not saying you have to give it on a massive collective scale or like a group scale, but at least in your personal relationships, and especially with children, because we're dealing with Leo and lunar stuff, like ask yourself if it's actually a big deal or if it just feels like a big deal and caught you on a bad moment. Now we move into our actual eclipse, and I'm probably going to do another separate video about this. I'm going to try and keep this part brief because I'm already running long. But we get the Leo moon trine Saturn. Mars will sextile Chiron. Ceres will move into Cancer, ruled by the lunation. Then at 11:36 a.m. Mountain Time, we get our eclipse. Eclipse is at 20 degrees of Leo. And then we get another long void moon for 16 hours. So it's just that we get the eclipse, and then that just reverberates forward. And we also get a Mercury-Uranus sextile, so big communications with that. And we have a very like overwhelming Page of Cups that actually always reminds me of the Ace of Cups in the artwork, and it just feels like that splash, spillover. This eclipse moon is ruling Cancer Mars. It's just like everything's going to be what it's going to be. I expect a lot of omens, divine messages, like big information. So just track, tend your body, and look at my eclipse tips if you want to know like how to protect yourself if you're concerned about that. And if you're not, just expect the unexpected. We're going to move into Thursday with our Queen of Wands reversed, and this feels a little bit like burnout from the eclipse. We will get a nodal opposition to the North Node conjunction with the South Node at 3:56 a.m. On Thursday. That feels like another ping on the eclipse point. Moon will move into Virgo, trine Chiron, sextile Mars. Then Mercury and Venus will sextile. The moon will square Uranus. And then we get a 42-hour void moon. So it's like we barely escaped eclipse energy. And then it's just like, oh man, we are just adrift. This week feels like moving through a dark tunnel with unexpected flashes of light that keep stealing our night vision. It's like we get something exposed and then it disappears again. And we get something exposed and then it disappears again. And it feels like everybody is on a solo mission this week. Because those void moons can be very unresourced. So particularly if you are a very lunar figure, or if the moon is your time lord, really check in. Feel free to ask me more questions in the comment if you're like, I don't know what that means, but yes. So my Cancerian people, like be really good to yourselves. And also my solar people, and Leos, because it is in your sign. And so like with that Queen of Wands reverse can feel doubting and brooding and aggressive and frustrated. And one of the medicines right now is expression. Put it into art, put it into form, create something with it. Even if you never look back on it, even if it's like, oh, that was actually not good. It's the act of creation right now that can get it out of the body and lessen some of that impact and the strain on the heart. Leo does rule the heart. So like, don't let stress build up. Give it some kind of avenue. All right, we move into Friday. Pallas will station retrograde in Aries at 22 degrees, which was also trine that eclipse. And, Ceres sextiles Chiron, so it's literally only an asteroid day that really makes it feel even more liminal. It's like we don't have any big aspects, and we're in a void moon, so Friday is just like, And because of that, we have the devil reversed. And this particular devil card from the Alleyman deck is you as the devil. And when I see that reversal, it can be becoming more indulgent, like going into lunar vices. Like, oh, I'm gonna overeat, and I'm just gonna binge watch a bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna be over cozy. I'm not gonna do anything. I don't want to talk to other people. So just be careful to have some moderation there. Like, excess in moderation is also fine, but really check in with yourself about whether or not you're moving into a selfishness that's harming people you care about because you're trying to tend to that feeling of lack in yourself. When we hit Saturday, we're back in the game. We have Mercury conjunct Leo, which could be like, I am, like, or Leo Jupiter, and it's like big megaphone energy, like, I got things to say. And then the moon moves into Libra, and this is when, if you're like ready to do something, the electional windows start opening up again this weekend, where it's like, okay, maybe you can start, the moon is gaining light again, which we like for elections. And then we also have, like, after the moon clears the square with Mars, that is, in Cancer, we have the moon trine Pluto, opposite Neptune, trine Uranus. And this is the world card. This is like a ancient tree, like, it reminds me of fossilized bristlecone pines. And it's like the thing that already ended but still stands, and like what we're gonna do about that. How do we end a cycle that all of the things that it was still seem very present, even if they're no longer vital? And so I think this is when we're going to have some clarity around the actions that the eclipse is calling for. And on Sunday, we have the Libra moon conjunct Venus, sextile Jupiter, sextile Mercury, and then opposing Saturn. And after that Saturn opposition is when you'd want more of the elections, unless you are a Saturnian. We have the Three of Bees and the Seven of Cups reversed. So this feels like a good time for collaboration, but don't get lost in the sauce of overlooking at your options. Now, I went way over this time, so it's probably not going to let me post on a few platforms. So I'm going to call it quits here. If you have questions, please let me know. I'm happy to help with this. I have a South Node Sun, so I'm very familiar with this energy. Wishing you all ease, patience, care for each other and for yourselves. All right. Happy week, y'all.